Recording, I see it.
It is now recording.
Okay,
You should see a
awesome.
record notation in the top right of your window.
I see it. I have it on the top left, but I see it. Okay, so thanks everybody for joining about the call for our marketplace. And I thought we'd go around and introduce ourselves for those who are not able to join us. And then hopefully on our next call, we can grab everyone. But let's see, who wants to start? I think Miles volunteered.
Yeah, I volunteered before we got the recording going. So hi, everybody. I'm Miles Betro. I'm a solutions architect on the Orbiterra Google Cloud Commerce team. I've been working with Orbiterra for about 5 years now, joined Google a little over 2 years ago when we were acquired by Google. And I work a lot with our strategic partners in figuring out how to apply and implement sort of the Orbiterra marketplace and commerce platform capabilities to different kinds of partner needs. So happy to be here, joined by my colleague, Ben.
Hello. Hey, everybody. Ben Carlson. I'm in business development and partnerships. Same group, same team as Miles on the other half. And I've been here now at Google Cloud for about 1.5 years after spending almost 6 years at Amazon Web Services, the Amazon ecosystem. So,
Oh, you guys are both from Amazon.
well, technically Miles wasn't, but he worked actively with Amazon.
Nice.
So we know a lot of the same people. But
Yeah.
small world. So yeah, happy to be here.
Cool. All right.
This is Evan.
Evan.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
I
Evan.
can start.
Go.
Yeah, me and Chris are at eBoost Consulting. So we're an ads management agency. We run Facebook ads and Google ads and Amazon ads on behalf of our clients. And so, yeah, we're just excited to be here and to work with you guys.
And tell them about Smartly, because Smartly is really cool.
Yeah, so our software that we use is called Smartly, and it makes our lives easier so that we don't actually have to do anything. The computers can just do everything for us, which is fantastic. No, I'm just kidding. We still end up doing a lot. Sometimes technology actually makes more work, but anyway. Yeah, so it's an ads management platform that just kind of allows us to do a lot more specifically with Facebook ads. Just testing hundreds of combinations of ad copy and creative, template overlays, doing some cool things with video, just a lot with data so that we're able to be much more effective for our clients with that technology than we would just, manually managing things through the Facebook platform.
Cool. Lumen?
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Lumen Tran, founder of ConverseBots. My apologies if I'm a little bit low energy. I've been fighting off a really bad cold the last couple of days, so wanted to make it to this meeting, but launched ConverseBots recently and focused on messenger chatbots for small and local businesses within e-commerce, and we'll be working with Facebook ads to help do a 1-2 punch for e-commerce within Facebook ads and Facebook Messenger for chatbots. Happy to be here.
Very cool.
And she's like the most amazing graphic artist. That's our secret talent. That's our Easter egg. For those of you who are gamers, I'm giving myself away. So my name is Marie. I'm one of the co-founders and CIO of Data 360, and Data 360 focuses on customer acquisition and employee acquisition. And we use a proprietary combination of AI, machine learning, and big data to reduce costs by 90%. So that's our finally, we got our tagline together. We're so happy. After 4 years. And we're partners with various Google departments and Amazon Web Services and smaller tech firms and partner and other firms like yourselves. And we're so excited to get the pilot going for this marketplace. and that you guys volunteered to be generation one of the marketplace. And we have lots and lots of people that are really upset they can't get my time until November, who are also wanting to join the marketplace. But we always we're so excited to have leaders on the phone and on the video chat to break this new territory with us for this B2B marketplace, because it really hasn't existed before as a neutral marketplace. It's usually tied to a major software provider like Salesforce or IBM or Google or one of those. And Google's really been great in opening up opportunities for our company in different departments across the Google ecosystem. So just to kind of give everyone on this conference call and on the recording, our unofficial guide to Google, and Miles and Ben might laugh at this, but this is our unofficial guide where we try to kind of explain to people, because there's always like, you know, a lot of myths and rumors. And so I've gone through this experience before. This is like a future past for me, a company called AOL. And people always thought AOL was the same, even though we were in many, many different departments. So this kind of would, and thanks to Lumen for helping us put this together. She's so great with the graphics. And then let me see if I can share my screen. I think I'm supposed to share my screen first. I did something wrong. Okay, 1 second. I am actually technical, but I'm also sleepy.
Early on the West Coast, yeah.
Marie,
Yeah.
it's a Monday. We're all slowly moving along.
Yeah, I'm East Coast, so I have a head start on the caffeination level.
Yeah.
Nice. I am so excited because we potentially have a new office with cold brew on tap, and that's very exciting.
Oh, that's nice. Wish I had that.
I know. I know. Okay, so here it is, my entire screen. All right. Okay, now it's probably working.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is Data 360's unofficial guide to Google, draft 1. Okay, so these are different areas of that we work in with Google. And for Ben and Miles, then you know how we interface with Google in many different ways. So we work first on what's called the infrastructure layer. So we don't work with the data centers or fiber, but we do work with Google Cloud. But we always benefit from data centers or fiber. So Google Cloud, as you know, is where you can access computation time and computation services for lots and lots of things. But it's the primary competitor is AWS and Azure, and some other cloud providers that they both compete with and work with. Then we have the platform layer. This is the primary layer where we work with Data 360 works with Google. So we work with the G Suite team, the education team, and the VR team. Currently, we're working on a few other things, but these are the ones that are currently active platform layers that we work with. Within each platform layer, there are a bunch of different apps. And so we promote and integrate with each of these apps or products. So in the case of DreamMaker is a specific product for Google VR, and we're integrating with, I think, every single one of these items. Right now in our, we have a roadmap that's about 24 months, somewhere like that, to integrate with all these. The first one on deck is Gmail and Orbitera, who's on the phone right now. And then we're working on Cloud ML and Google Classroom and DreamMaker. Yeah, those 5. And then the rest are kind of coming in process. And then there's the initiative layer. We currently work with the Google Cloud Next team, but we do not work with the IO team yet, which is forthcoming. And then there's the research layer. And we, I think Moonshot's now called X Company. Correct me, Googlers. Do you know?
Correct. Yeah.
X Company. So we don't work with we do work with X Prize, which does work with X Company, but we don't work with X Company directly. Fun fact. We work with, we are exploring conversations with Google Brain, and we have projects in common with Sidewalk Labs. And we have sort of a cooperation with Google Labs. So these are actually these guys and Google Education were the first teams at Google we ever worked with, besides the funding layer. So we have not yet worked with Google Ventures, but we do currently work with Google Government and Public Affairs due to our work with the city and county of Los Angeles and various nonprofits related to social and criminal justice. So that's our basic guide to Google. Right now, we're just focused on, step one, which is getting the pilot for Google Marketplace Orbiterra together, and then working through some other integrations as well. So like I said, thank you guys for being literally one of the first people on deck outside of our kind of alpha stage that we have with Google Education and Government and Public Affairs and cloud, actually. So we've been at this for a few years, and we're really excited to be in a public phase. It's really good. And we're good that the team's finally arrived in LA. So that's really nice. And thank you guys so much for being here. Do you have any questions about the first part? Anyone? Bueller?
No questions.
Okay.
No.
All right. How did I do, guys?
Great.
I like the guide.
Fantastic. Very, very nice.
Very complimentary. I'm not sure if it's truthful, but it's good. So then we could kind of go over. So Lumen being the novice, are you awake enough to talk about the marketplace graphics you put together? What your thoughts were? Because it's kind of a working session too, so there's nothing kind of fixed in stone.
Sure. For me, it was definitely an education process, just finding out about all the different aspects of Google and all the different areas. And when I was putting it together, it really, I know when you first sent me the links, all of a sudden it really made sense for me as somebody who's not coming from a hardcore tech space to be able to have a visual in terms of something that it can be very vague concepts, but just having just graphics and visuals again to be able to see how all the different layers and all the different areas relate. And so I was just taking a lot of different concepts from all the, the unique, whether it be like the app layer with funding layer, and just trying to come up with a way to communicate it to people who might not have that hardcore tech application or knowledge. Somebody like myself could be able to relate and kind of understand sort of the partnership in an ecosystem. And that was where I came from. And hopefully that's been clearly communicated to the best that I
And maybe this probably is good for Miles. Can you explain kind of what happened with Google, like all this kind of like openness that is suddenly afoot in like what it's about? Because I've heard it articulated, but I'm not sure if I'm good at articulating it yet.
Yeah. So I would say that Google has a history from a very high level of embracing openness and open source, and is a big believer in sort of openness overall at all levels. And when it comes to cloud, that openness is kind of embracing and recognizing that it's a multi-cloud world, that customers can and do have footprints on multiple cloud vendors, that's okay. And that, in terms of our part of the cloud world, Orbiterra or the cloud commerce team, We're a big believer in trying to enable our partners to engage in commerce on the cloud, agnostic as to where the workloads might be running, because when we can expand the consumption of the cloud overall, we all kind of win. So I hope that did a fair job in articulating it, Marie.
It's pretty good. So we just a little quick aside. We were foretold of this time about a year and a half ago. And told, just hang out, wait, it's going to get really good. That was really kind of our warning. So we're really excited to kind of join and spread the good news about the different opportunities that are available. So in that, we and Lumen, thank you, Lumen, put together a overview of the Data 360 marketplace. And so we've kind of decided as a team with Data 360 to look at kind of a standardized roadmap or funnel for putting together projects and processes for integrating with Google and our other partners. And so we are doing that in 4 stages. We're doing that with just overall orientation, right? And having applicants and people who are interested in said program or integration like this marketplace. We're moving them towards users with sessions like this and with everything that's happening. And then focus on onboarding. So this is the beginning of that process where we help you put together your offering with us and help you get benefit from that offering. And then once you're on board, you're a member, and then we start working with you both as a member and a customer and a promoter. So kind of our biggest thing is to make sure that as you join this integration or join any other integration with Data 360, that you kind of understand the movement of activity, and if something there's a need or something that doesn't work for you, that you let us know so that we can modify this process. And then our goal is always to delight you. And meaning that, we want you to, spread the good news of what's happening with us, what's happening with Google, what's happening with your companies, what you're able to offer online, and provide an unprecedented opportunity for you to grow your business with us. And so the background on this is that we, from Data 360's perspective, have kind of had boots to the ground for about 3 years straight, talking about the power of data and AI and machine learning. And we're fairly ahead of the curve because most of the AI conversation is at the research level, with some at the app level. But it's still very early, and also saying AI is like saying electricity or water or washing machine. There's many different kinds of AI things, and there's lots of misconceptions about what it is. So we found that you have to really kind of put together an ecosystem for AI to exist on its own that is separate from larger infrastructures like the ones provided by Google and Amazon. And so we put together and vetted thousands of people and thousands of companies to try to understand how to help a customer or even a large company navigate through AI in a meaningful, productive, effective, and cost-sensitive way. And so our value proposition for our company is expanding possibilities, and that's why we approached it this way. To really give the novice or the newbie or the practitioner access to artificial intelligence. We just had a really productive, conversation online with Unilever about who wants to utilize AI for talent acquisition and management. And she said, "Oh, I'll refer you to our AI team." And I said, "No, we work with practitioners. We don't work with AI teams." Because we're focused on making sure that the practitioner understands the power and the benefits of the AI, and it doesn't hit some weird esoteric level that's super narrow or too broad. It really hits the business layer, and I think that's what makes Data 360 unique. overall. Any questions about that part of the process?
No.
It makes sense for everyone. Great. Okay. From a visual perspective, these are the basic steps. And I don't know if you want to, Miles, elaborate on any of this. I know you said there were some things about customization and other things you might want to talk about, but overall, we have just kind of, 4 basic steps, right? Which is the marketplace, getting the banner images together, the regular images, the footer customization, and enabling Stripe transactions. That's what Data 360 is going to do. And really put together kind of the overall concepts. And then we have our current promotions engine, so to speak, that deals with email and social media and chat bots, all the chat bots and web chat for actually encasing this with live customer service and actual live access to you. So we have 2 ways of integrating with you. We have one is through Salesforce, and the other is through Trade.io. If you have some other system, and we can then dump data transactions to you, and then the Orbiterra platform can also integrate with you. And I don't know, Miles, if you want to talk a little bit about that at a high level.
Yeah, so the approach that we take here is that we want to, integrate with your existing systems and processes as much as possible. So the customization that Marie has on this slide is kind of a first order layer of kind of that white labeling experience. So you can have your own kind of customer portal for your customers to log into and interact with. You can customize what it's called, the titles, like she says here, the banner image, footer information, all of the customer level data. We do have a few out of the box integrations with credit card providers like Stripe, and we're going to be adding more payment options over time. This marketplace experience can then be embedded in your own domain space. So it could be like store.yourcompany.com, or some kind of other kind of custom URL that you want. And then we also have the capability, if you do have an identity system for your customers, or in other words, a single sign-on system, in general, we can integrate against multiple different single sign-on providers to allow your users to log in with their existing identities. And then on the back end, we have a lot of tools and hooks for you to integrate with your existing billing system and other kinds of integrations.
Yeah, it's a lot of different options. So, and then also if you feel super brave and you want to also take on building your own ecosystem, Data 360 can advise you on that as well. It's a bit of work, but we would happily support you in that, as well as being a part of our marketplace. So this is kind of the layer where you guys will live, which is, adding products, automating elements, and putting together pricing and billing plans. So adding products is actually pretty straightforward, and we talked about that a bit on the Google group. There are, I think that's the most straightforward part of the process. I'm going to let Miles talk about the automation and elements and the pricing plans, because it's a little bit, I'm still not as conversant as I would like to be on these couple pieces and all the different pieces, all the different elements. Data 360 is just going to provide you with a sort of basic level of automation and basic level of pricing and plans. We are expanding an ability for affiliates and partners to sell with us in 190 countries through one of our new payment providers. But that's sort of probably a quarter or two away. And you can also expand your offerings to be with ISVs and partners and all that stuff. So I'll let Miles talk a little bit about those two elements, because there's a lot of runway to do a lot of different things with these two pieces. So we can just kind of do the basics of that.
Yeah, sure. So I'll hit on the automated elements and then the pricing and plan options. So again, kind of going back to what I was saying at the start about our open framework for the platform, we have a framework where you can define one or multiple automated hooks for each product. And those hooks, or API calls to be a little bit more technical, can notify one or multiple third-party systems that a transaction has taken place. And that can automate, for example, the provisioning of a user account, or if the user already has an account, granting them an entitlement or access to an additional product or service. It also allows you to create potentially bundles of products, because we can have multiple calls embedded within each product. So for example, if you wanted to have, two products sold together, and those two products are from different vendors or have different methods of being provisioned, we can call into both of those systems independently under the hood, so to speak, so that the user doesn't need to really do anything. There's also different levels of automation, so you don't have to have product automation or automated delivery defined for every product in sort of a crawl, walk, run kind of perspective for development. Many of our partners, when they're testing or they're initially launching or going to market with a product, might not have a fully automated end-to-end provisioning process. So for that, we can also have, email notifications to particular admins that a transaction has occurred, or to group distribution lists. And we can always partner with you or figure out sort of ways to include or incorporate automation once you do develop that. On the pricing and plan side of things, this is where, and it can kind of interplay with that automated element section. This is where you can have multiple flavors or plans for each product that you might have. So in a t-shirt sizing perspective, you might have like a small, medium, large version of your product, or you might have like a base premium ultra, or you might have different feature sets kind of included. So in that way, you can have different versions of a baseline product discoverable by a user in their shopping experience, and then automate that sort of that product selection. And then you can have each of those plans have distinct pricing. So in a very broad brushstroke kind of perspective, we have two big buckets of pricing that we can accommodate. One is consumption-based pricing, where it's kind of pay per use. That's where we would need to also, in concert with this marketplace front end, figure out how that metering takes place and what pricing is applied to it. So that can be a little bit of a longer conversation. The other that's a little bit easier, I would say, to self-configure, likely very relevant for your use cases, is subscription-based pricing, where you can have different kinds of frequencies defined for those, like monthly, quarterly, annual, for example. You can have them be one-time fees or not. You can have recurrence or not. The approach here is that you can be pretty flexible in terms of what your products are, how they're procured, and how they're priced through this white label marketplace experience.
So for example, we do a percentage of ad spend based billing. So I mean, can we put on? So how would that work? Because it would depend each month how much ad spend is actually put through the platform. Could we still do that on a subscription model? Because it might change the rate.
Yeah, I mean that very much depends on what you want your overall, billing process to be. So one approach there is like if you have that process already up and running, and you already have a mechanism to bill on an ongoing basis, you might not want to have the billing implemented in the front end experience, and rather you might say, the initial order is self-procured here, and you go like the schedule of charges, and then you pick them up on your existing billing process. The second approach is where we do actually integrate against the consumption information in an automated fashion. Now, we don't actually have a pre-existing integration with Google Ads in particular, or any other consumption-based ad platforms out of the box, at least. However, we've done and we have consumption-based billing integrations with many consumption-based products and platforms, specifically the entire Google Cloud Platform family of products and services, everything on Amazon Web Services, everything on Microsoft Azure, IBM SoftLayer. We also have the capability, and we have done integrations with many software platforms. The long story short is we need information to the usage and the pricing for that usage. And we can automate the end-to-end billing process.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it seems like, maybe in the beginning, doing kind of the setup charge, which is always going to be the same through the platform, and then kind of handling the other stuff on our end. And we have our own systems, but I don't know how easily they would integrate, but that could be kind of the next steps as we continue, building it, is, trying to figure out how to automate all of that through the system, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. And I would totally agree. If you have, basically if you have an API endpoint for us to, call into and create a new user or grant that entitlement to begin using your services, we can automate that portion through this front end experience, and then we can figure out how to automate the overall end-to-end billing experience over time.
Okay, we don't have that, but hey, maybe we will sometime in the future.
And then if you don't, and what this does is it basically emulates that experience from the user's perspective, because they don't know that there's no automation under the hood, right?
Right.
Say like, oh yeah, your order has been taken. You'll receive an onboarding email soon. And so long as you have a fulfillment process, then you can essentially surface that product as if it were automated.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we could definitely do it that way.
Yeah, that's what attracted us to this process, was because we could kind of get started and then build over time. And we've been, as a company with Data360, we're like kind of ultra lean, in that we always kind of rapid prototype, we rapidly iterate, we do a lot of customer feedback. So we don't have to overcommit to massive amounts of programming upfront. So that's part of the reason why we said, yes, let's go ahead and do that, versus like some of the other pieces of Google Cloud. It's not as easy to just kind of start and do things and experiment without, being very technical or scientific.
Makes sense.
Okay. So any other thoughts or questions?
Not from my end.
Okay, cool. So that's kind of the basics of what we're up to. What's next for us is we are going to start focusing on getting your products and services sort of cataloged and inventoried. We've gone through the websites and kind of guessed at what different potential pieces may be, but we just need to verify kind of where do we start with one or two things from your catalog, not kind of the whole catalog, just one or two pieces that we can demonstrate and prototype and work with the public on, and kind of see how it all happens. So we've run some pretty good experiments with Amazon and Thinkific and Eventbrite, experiment with e-commerce and integration with our communications tools. So it's worked out well. But it's what's interesting about automated content, as you guys know, it's very spiky. So it's sort of like everybody hits it at the same time and then nothing. And then everybody hits it at the same time and then nothing, unless it's kind of virally placed and posted and SEO. So we are looking at integrated products, create at least just one key automation or maybe one or two, and then put together a little pilot launch. And so we're hoping to do that before Halloween, because we want to give the public time to give us feedback. And that usually our shortest feedback cycle is about 2.5 weeks. So, if we look at the calendar and sort of pick from sort of the 2.5 time week, trying to get my, Windows and Chrome, they don't like each other. I have to go to my tablet. There we go. It goes so slow. I'm switching over to a Chromebook, just so everybody knows. So my life gets better. So ideally, we would conclude the sort of first launch, sort of pilot A, by the end of October, which will be around the 26th. October is the holiday weekend. So considering everybody's probably gonna stop working and pretending to work around Thursday, the 25th, or even as early as Wednesday, we would need to make sure everybody has whatever they want to pilot with to us by October the 5th.
Okay. Well, so in terms of, I mean, we're a services-based business. We only have one main kind of service, which is our ads management. Although one thing that we do a Facebook ads audit. That's kind of a one-time thing. That's like a little more of a package, that could be piloted. So is that the type of thing you're looking for? Like just information on the Facebook ads audit and kind of getting that into the system?
Yeah, that'd be both, and we could do your setup process too. That's okay. Both of those are great. And Simple's good. Simple's really good.
Good.
Yeah,
I like Simple really too.
Simple is scalable. That's what I've learned. Simple is like super scale. Sometimes simple is not as simple as you think it is.
That's true. That's true.
That's what I've learned in launching a major platform.
My question.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. My question, Marie, is like if I've got, say, a template for a chatbot for like e-commerce, how was, since so much of this is new to me, it's basically just getting, making sure like whatever's in the catalog on that list is getting delivered and not delivered. I'm sorry, but my process is for that service is available for Data 360 and Orbiterra to be piloted. Apologies, you guys. I'm really struggling.
Yeah, you're ready to service some people with it. Like they sign up and they pay. What happens? Yeah. So, and then we'll kind of do our usual, which is, we kind of pump it out on every network that we have. And we also have a pretty huge message-based, email and text message-based system that we can pump it out on. So we're gonna work pretty hard to kind of make sure that everybody understands what they can purchase from you on the pilot. And then we're gonna measure and do a bunch of experiments, which will also serve the basis in the long run in ads, Google ads, Amazon ads, Facebook ads, and so on and so forth.
Gotcha.
And a more advanced chatbot development. So just so you guys know, we have kind of the same access to the internet as most major platform providers and telecoms. So we can actually measure things that most people can't measure. We have over, I think it's now 200 fields of data that we can obtain on any publicly available internet transaction or internet post. So, you know, if there is, you know, anything that happens around this thing or around your post, we can find it. If not immediately, we'll find it, you know, within a week or two. That's kind of how the 360-degree picture forms. It usually takes, it depends on the service, where the information is being posted or being reposted or being distributed. Then, you know, we kind of know how it is. And so we will provide, also, we're going to turn on a couple other distribution mechanisms that send out blogs and send out long form content through different channels and social media. So, you know, we'll get to see the full footprint of where it gains traction and who is attracted to it and all that good stuff. So just be prepared for that. It could be nothing, it could be everything.
Prepared for anything.
Yeah, be prepared for it to be on the internet.
And it'll never go away once it's on the internet once, right?
Yeah, and then also, in full disclosure, we are being covered by Vice magazine, Data 360. And so that could change things.
That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thank you. Thank you. So, you know, there's a little bit of that. It's around more of our HR side, but the report, you know, it's for Motherboard. So who knows where it'll go. So, you know, that may be a life, you know, kind of a game changer. I have to write her right after this meeting. So that may happen. So just, you know, kind of be aware of that sort of stuff, you know, and it, you know, it's like, you know, anything can happen within 24 hours on the internet.
Very true. So then what's the next?
Or maybe nothing.
Yeah. So what's the next step? What can I send you to get started, or what do I need to do next?
Yeah, so we'll post where the repository is for those who are on this call for Booz Consulting and Lumen, for you guys to put together your files and all of that. So we'll prepare that in the next 24, 48 hours, and then you can post.
Perfect.
To those files.
Okay, cool.
And then we'll start loading stuff in. We have, and we'll send you access to the inventory list. So then you can kind of see how Data 360 is tracking it, and then also see how it fits into the overall system. We're going to try to not turn into a spreadsheet nightmare, but we'll see how it goes, because it's our fields plus Orbiterra's fields that need to be tracked. So it can get a little bit hairy. So if anything, you know, makes you want to scream and pull your hair out, let us know.
Will do. Yeah, sounds good. I know how that goes.
Yeah. I'm a business person, but I'm also an engineer, and I've been screamed at.
Simple is good. That's the mantra. Simple is good.
Yeah, simple is awesome. So unfortunately, with data and the back end of the internet, it's not always possible to be simple. So we're doing the best we can.
Yep. For sure.
Yeah.
Well, very cool.
All right. Any other questions or thoughts, Miles or Ben? Any other things you can think of?
No, nothing new on my end. But if I could use this as a quick request, Marie, could you and I maybe chat for like a few minutes after this? Do you have something back to back, or maybe later today?
No, we can chat it right after this.
Okay. Well, let's just hang out on the Meets hangout, and while everybody wraps up. That's my only request.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm good.
All right.
No, it's been great.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, thanks everyone.
Okay, guys. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Have a good rest.
Thanks for